When people hear cruise, they picture giant ships, casinos, buffets, lots of people, big crowds. What is a small ship and what makes them so different from what we may be used to?
In my consideration, and largely the industry, is 1,000 passengers or less on a vessel that sails overnight cruising. Because there are day ships, day cruises people can book, like from the port of Charleston, let's say, South Carolina, that just goes out for a couple hours. But 1,000 passengers or less and does overnight exploration to a vacation destination. A lot of the time, it's less than 1,000 passengers. A lot of the time, it's 200 passengers or less. We've been on a barge cruise with 5 passengers. We were 2 of the 5. So small ships are small in numbers and also smaller in the size of the actual ship because of and a smaller crew. River cruising is mostly what people think of when they think of small ships because they're advertised the most and perhaps the most popular way of going on a small ship. But there are so many varied options. Sailing comes to mind, historic schooner with sails, which could be amazing. There are yachts with sails. For example, Windstar comes to mind. That's about 300 passengers, depending on the ship. There is also expedition cruising. So that's going to take you to the polar regions, the Arctic cruises, the Antarctic cruises. And those are ships that are specifically designed to break through the ice. Safety first, always. And then there are also barge cruises that could be anywhere from typically you'll see 6 to 8 passengers up to 12. There are some outliers with that, but that's very typical. And the barges are called that because they used to carry goods along the canals in mostly Europe.
I definitely want to talk about the misconceptions because there's a lot of things out there that may or may not be true. So walk us through some of the biggest ones that you hear over and over.
I would say the number one misconception, besides that small ships are all river cruises, which we just covered, is that they're really expensive. I'm not going to deny that they're more expensive than a mega ship. They cost more money, but they include more. So, for example, a big ship cruise, everything's a la carte for the most part, unless you book a suite category and there's, let's say, an open bar in your suite class concierge area. River cruises, yacht cruises, barge cruises, expedition cruises, the bar's open for you. They include it. So they're not nickeling and diming, but they are having you pay for that on the front end, you know? You might be listening thinking, well, I don't drink alcohol. Well, the good news is cruise lines more and more are accommodating mocktails, non-alcoholic beverages, and people are doing really cruise lines are doing really creative things with that. So they're keeping that in mind. Another thing is excursions. For the most part, with most small ship cruises, either the excursions are included, 100% of them, or one excursion per port is included. So the most popular examples are probably Viking cruises and on the waterways river cruises. And they always include one excursion per port. And it's usually a walking tour, not always, but usually it depends where you are. So those are just 2 examples of getting more bang for your buck. So the misconception is they cost more, but you also have to keep in mind that you're getting more. The best budgeting for this is you could pay that price and never pay another thing again, right? Once you book your flights and you never have to pay another cent again because it's all covered to your point. American Cruise Lines pretty much has a policy that you cannot pay for anything on board. It's not just their policy. You cannot pay for anything on board. We saw posters that were really cool and we asked them, why can't we buy these? And they were like, because we love that you cannot purchase anything on board. You've paid for it all already.